Creations. Today we're going to be using the Accuquilt Go cutter, and somebody asked if I would cut out some animals, so I am going to cut out a specialty die, which means that they have them out just for a short period of time and then they pull them back. I guess sort of like Disney movies where they put them in the vault or something. You can't order them or anything, and that's what I got here. Is called the Sea Life Medley. This is what it looks like. There it is right there. And I'm going to make those 4 little sea creatures, and I'm going to put it up on that right there, which is a baby quilt. And I'm going to show you over here on the other table. So let's try to keep that glare off. So first off, this is what the die looks like. So that's why I'm coming from the top down here. It's the 4 little things. You get this paperwork here that tells you about your cutting tips. So let me talk to you about the cutting tips. So on here, it's showing you your grain, okay? Your bias is going this direction. This is your straight of grain and your crosswise grain. Now on my fabric that I have prepped, let me pull the piece over here that doesn't have anything on it, just a second. So I pulled 4 colors from this stack right here. These are all plain. There aren't any designs or anything on them because I don't want it. All I wanted to do was make sure the colors that I chose went with those pinwheels that I have. So I'm going to take this here and I'm going to show you. And let me put the camera down. Alrighty, so here's is the bias. See how that gives? They don't want you to put it on that. They want you to put it on the straight of grain. See, this won't give. Not as much as this or this. But here's the thing. If you use a stabilizer, let me pull me a piece here that I'm going to practice on. This is the stabilizer that I'm using. I am using, now I cut this out of a box because I have a large box of it. But this is what it is. It's the Steam-A-Seam. Okay, Steam-A-Seam 2, that's what I use. Double-sided fusible. And if you put this on your fabric, no matter which direction you put it on, the fabric is not budging. Let me get you a piece that I just did because I've already ironed the 4 that I'm going to use. Here's the piece that I'm using for the crab. And if you note, it's not moving anywhere. Okay, so now I stabilize this. I can put it this direction, sideways. It doesn't make any difference. Only because it has a stabilizer on it. If it doesn't have a stabilizer and you're cutting it out for your actual project, like if it were a diamond or if it was a square or it was a rectangle or something like that, that's when you need to really pay attention to the direction so that it doesn't stretch as it's going through the machine. And that's what I wanted to say because I believe when I cut out, I think it was the squares, somebody had asked if I had done it on the diagonal or something. I do not recall. But anyway, I just want to give you that little bit of tip. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how I feed it through because I don't think in the last video that I actually show you. I normally show you it coming out, but I don't think I showed you me feeding it through, and I want to show you that this time. Alrighty, here it is, set up, ready to go. I have my mat on the top because you have to have that to get it to cut. And I've got this folded over because I'm going to try something, and I'll let you know if it works or not. Take this off. Now, here's the crab without the stabilizer. And I need a scissors. All right, so these little pieces will stick. It didn't get off. All right, so there's that crab. And here's the one with the stabilizer. Let's see if any of it needs to be. Okay, there's that. So all I have to do is put that on my fabric, and I'm going to put it on the 7.5 inch square, which is what the pinwheel square turned out to be. But let me see if I can practice on this, and I'll come back and tell you whether my idea works or not. I'm just making this up as I go along. Okay, so my sample did work. So here is this one, and since it has the fusible, you take it and you put it on your fabric, and what I'm using is this size right here. and it's going to be across the bottom, and then I'm going to put my crab in here, however. But the thing that I was trying to do, that I was talking about in an example, just a test, is if I cut this out with nothing, no fusible on the back of it, could I put it on a little square? Alrighty, so this here is fusible, and it's, I mean not fusible, I'm sorry, it's water soluble paper, and I used it as a fusible, so I put it on the back. I double layered it. See, it's got two pieces here. I folded it over, and I put it on the back of this fabric here. This is one piece of fabric that I'm using in order to be able to put the stitches on here. Now all I did was, this is just a temporary seam because I was holding my paper down. I didn't want to put pins and worry about getting stuck or anything. So if you don't have any fusible, which is what I just used to make this little thing right here, then what you do is just get you some of this soluble paper and you can put it on the back. Now, if you don't have soluble, you can use typing paper, you can use thin paper. You can always rip it apart on the back side here because your stitches. And I did two different stitches. So one, I quilting applique stitch, and if you can't do that, then you can do a straight stitch. So I started a straight one right here, and you can make it any length that you want. I just went around it all the way because that was a lot easier than this. Now, if you do this and you have it, you want to use your open-toed foot so that you can see where it's going. Otherwise, it's going to be too hard. That's all I wanted to say. Now let's go ahead and we're going to cut these out, and I'm going to show you. And a camera lady stepped in on for me. Hi. All right, let's see here. Now we're going to have us a red crab. Nope, I need the scissors right here. Get a little piece hung up. Okay, there's one. Whoops. There's a little starfish. Our fish and his bubble, or his air bubble here. I lost his air bubble here. You see it anywhere?
Yes, I do.
There it is, right here. Okay.
And what is that? You didn't say
Seahorse. Okay.
So you didn't say what that was.
A seahorse. There you go. Now I got it all cut out. I'm going to put it on the little white squares, and I'll show it to you. So I wanted to show you on this die here what the back looks like when you get one of these. I'm going to try to get that light off of there. So they give you ideas. For example, here they've given you could make this quilt, which shows the sand and the water. Or this one here, they're calling the Storm at Sea blocks. That's what these are. And they put them together. And they put the one inside of it. And here's the directions that tells you how to put it together. So you put your fabric on there. And there's another block, and it gives you the go dies you need to make it, your fabric requirements, and now you get this on the back of each one. And now I'm going to take a minute because I'm going to go over there and I'm going to embroider. There they are. I went ahead and I put them all together. And now I'm going to do my embroidery work. So I got my thread set up so that I can attach this to the quilt that I have here started on the wall. One right here. So it's got 2 rows at the top. Then I put a piece of white fabric, and then I'm going to put what I have here on the bottom to make it long. The squares, you can tell them separate from the ironing board cover. And I went ahead and I have embroidered them. So let me get a little closer here so you can see it. And I did put a stabilizer on the back. I put that water soluble, and I've already washed this whole thing, so none of these bled. I just washed it by hand in the sink to get rid of the stabilizer. Okay, so here it is, and when you pan down, there they are at the bottom of the little blanket. So the next video with the Accuquilt, I am going to do the strips across the top and the side. In the meantime, I'm going to think whether I want to go ahead and add white before I add the strips, only because of the way that the color is ending here. I may want a white strip instead. I'll think about it in a minute, and then if I do want it, I'll go ahead and I'll show you how we're going to use the machine and how fast it is to cut those strips. Alrighty, till next time, I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up. Let me go on the other side of the table and I can get a better view. And subscribe and click the little bell and you'll get notices, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.